Hi guys, happy Sunday and welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. As usual, before we go on with today's video, all I ask is for you guys to hit that like button because it takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. A lot of people are still forgetting to hit it, but it will bring a lot of awareness to NEO as a whole. And as usual, I'm going to put the link for that NEO Facebook group that my own subscriber Zahir and I started on Facebook that's growing in a massive way already. And a lot of people are contributing very positive information on there. So what do I have for you guys on a Sunday to prepare you for Monday? Well, I want to start with this. I saw a spy photo of the inside of the Firefly. That's what I use as the thumbnail. It is so beautiful. It's like a work of art. This is why the CEO said it's going to be a boutique little car. Even our sub-brands are on a premium level. And you think it will not sell like hot bread. Okay. Also, before I go into today's article, I also wanted to say this. People were complaining and worried about, well, NEO will have to build battery swaps for all those Firefly cars. We all know it's going to be a fraction of the cost of the battery swap stations for our main brand and for the Onvo and other sub-brands on the Alps. But also, I was talking to Money Making Melvin in Florida, the mechanic in Florida, and the subject came up and, we said, imagine, well, not imagine, we already know that, I believe it's Geely and Chery is releasing battery swap enabled models by the third quarter of this year that will be using our battery swap stations. So it is only natural to know that in the future, all of these companies that partner with us that will be releasing battery swap enabled models may also release little cars that will use these battery swapping stations that the Firefly will be using, generating revenue for those stations as well. How do y'all like them apples? It is good to have vision and always look ahead when you want to make money in the stock market. And no matter what the negative Nancy's, the shorts, and the troll tell you, you can say to them in a nice way like I always do, shut your mouth and pull your pants up, boy, and be a man if you want to become a millionaire. So, what else do I have for you guys? We all know. Oh, and let me also say this. The Firefly has a square steering wheel. So what does that mean? Steer-by-wire that we invented. Steer-by-wire. Where there's nothing connecting to the wheels. You turn it, sends an electric signal, and the wheel turns. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, as Ford CEO admits considering a partnership on autonomous driving, because they're behind, all the American cars are behind. Of course, we all know dog poop, cat poop, rat poop, and bat poop, smelly guano, Tesla, buffalo poop, Tesla is also behind. The world is behind China. Lagging behind, I should say. And NEO, as we all know, is the leader in the premium segment. The leader in technology and everything else when it comes to EVs. So he said, and they will soon, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, said, and they will soon announce their decision after losing $5.1 billion in 2024 in the EV electric vehicle division. Well, some more news came out. Understanding why the door will be open in America, and this guy proved me right. I said it, that let history be your teacher, when some people were saying, well, if they come here, it will destroy the American auto industry, we'll lose a lot of jobs. And I pointed out that when Toyota came, that didn't happen. What happened was our auto industry had to keep up and also compete with the price. So the same thing will happen, and it will cause competition will create innovation. So what did Jim Farley said? He said, Ford chief says China leads the US by 10 years in electric vehicle batteries and America needs their IP. Let me say that again. Ford chief says China leads the US by 10 years. And not just the US when it comes to EVs. They lead the world. When it comes to batteries and need their IP, well, we also lead in technology inside of the EVs. we also lead when it comes to LiDAR and everything else. So it says licensing battery tech, and this article is incredible. Licensing battery technology from China is the key to staying competitive with its automakers and eventually beating them, according to Jim Farley. Well, I don't know if we will ever beat them, because we never beat Toyota. We never beat Mercedes. We've never beaten BMW. But, we'll at least have something to somewhat compete. And the patriotic American will buy it as long as it's close in technology due to patriotism, and a certain amount of Americans will buy the better product. So China is years ahead of Western automakers in battery technology, according to the Ford CEO. Jim Farley told the New York Times that Ford must access China's battery IP if it wants to compete. Cattle batteries use LFP chemistry, and I didn't even know this, originally developed in the USA. It was originally developed here and later acquired by China. So here's what happened. Ford desperately wants to head off the threat posed by the Chinese car industry, the threat according to the article, but it needs China's own technical expertise to make it happen. According to the Blue Oval boss, it needs China's own technical expertise to make it happen. Of course, Tesla was the first, we all know that, and then China made it even better, and they called it a Neo. They made it light years ahead and called it a Neo. So this is what China is good at. They can take something and make it 10, 20, in this case about 50 times better than Tesla. CEO Jim Farley told the New York Times that China is years ahead when it comes to making batteries for EVs, and that Ford's only chance of getting on equal footing with the country's auto industry and then pulling ahead is to leverage their technology. So the way we compete with them is to get access to their IP just the way they needed ours 20 years ago. And that is true. Remember, America was dumping their cars in China up until just recently, right? And China didn't have superior technology. So China allowed them to come in, look at what they were doing, and made it superior. And then use our innovative ecosystem and American ingenuity and all our great and our intimacy with the customer to beat them globally. So Farley told the New York Times, Thomas L. Friedman, it will be one of the most important races to save our industrial economy. So it's exactly what I've been saying. With the competition coming, and then they can do partnerships, America will be able to survive in the automotive industry as well. It will be a win-win for everyone. And it will happen. It will happen. And don't be surprised if we see it happening this year, because if not, just like I said, excuse me guys, I saw like BYD, we just went into Estonia, another market over outside of America. And we've heard the CEO said it, Emperor William Lee, that NEO will be in 25 countries by the end of this year. So we all know that England most likely will be one of them. Lucky bastards, you guys over there, excuse the language. Same as with Australians, and the rest of the world, will be getting these cars. Norway is, of course, we're going to be sending Envo, I'm sure, over there as well. So Farley isn't talking about some far-off future plan. This is not far off, but something that's already happening. The automaker's massive Blue Oval battery park is currently mid-build, and when it's up and running in 2026, it'll be churning out thousands of lithium iron phosphate batteries that rely on tech from China's CATL. That much we knew, but there's something we didn't know about CATL's clever chemistry. And maybe you didn't either. It was originally developed in the US and then picked up for pennies by the Chinese. Referencing an earlier Bloomberg story, the New York Times explains how LFP was discovered by scientists at the University of Texas, then commercialized by A123 System LLC, a startup that received a ton of cash by the Obama administration. But the EV market was slow to develop, and A123 went bust. But why was it slow to develop? You see, in America, I've said it before, in China, they don't change political parties, but they change the way they do business. They change policies, what's best for the country, the environment, the people, etc., etc. In America, we change political parties, but the policies never change because the government is owned by the corporations, the oil corporations, the weapon manufacturers, the pharmaceutical industries, and they lobby the government, and it's legal. It's what you call legal bribery. So, of course, the oil industry suppressed it. This company went bust, and China said, wait a minute, I'll buy it for you for pennies. That's fine. It's worthless anyway, right? Give it to me. Here's some pennies. And all the while, China is saying, how foolish are these people not to see what they have? And China made it better, about 100 times better. It says eventually being bought out by what at that time was China's biggest auto parts company. You might argue that hindsight is a wonderful thing and that no one really could have known a decade ago that EVs would become such a large part of the car industry. And of course, any new technology, like I showed that one clip where it showed that people thought that bicycles wouldn't catch on, telephones in the beginning wouldn't catch on, the internet wouldn't catch on with computers, the phones, the elevators, the cryptocurrency. In the beginning, most people don't have the vision to see where it's going, and they always lose out. This is why I said this time we will not lose out and we will become millionaires with this company, with NIO. But the Chinese figured it would. Tesla also did before any other Western brand. Every major automaker was working on EVs because they knew they'd eventually have to sell them in huge numbers to meet emission goals. Looking back, and Tesla has now turned into like what BlackBerry has turned into. Dog poop, cat poop, rat poop, bat poop, and buffalo poop. They fell behind just like BlackBerry. And now we have something called a Huawei phone. So it says, looking back from a 2025 vantage point, it seems incredible that the tech was allowed not just to leave US hands, but drop into the hands of one of its biggest adversaries, who they consider to be an adversary, even though China has not fired one bullet at us, even though China don't take part in wars. One that, according to the Bloomberg, but the reason why they're an adversary, and I want you all to remember this, and I don't care if YouTube blocked my channel for saying this, China is considered an adversary because unlike Europe, they don't go to the Washington master's feet and beg for permission. They do whatever they want to do as long as they see it's in the best interest of the world. That's the difference. This is why they are an adversary. One that, according to the Bloomberg report, controls 83% of all lithium-ion battery manufacturing. 83%! Ford is working on a sub $30,000 baby EV. A baby EV. Now imagine, this is sub $30,000. It will be junk compared to an Envo, total junk, but an Envo would be cheaper. This is how far China has gone. It says to battle affordable electric cars from China that haven't yet launched in the US, but are already making their presence felt in other regions where Ford also sell cars. Excuse me guys, while tariff on car imported from China to the US protect Ford from the threat of the likes of BYD and NIO in America for now, they also make the Chinese-built Lincoln Nautilus more expensive once shipped to US dealers. So, this article, guys, I got this from Money Making Melvin over there in Florida. I want to thank him for this. It was invaluable and incredible information showing us investors of how history should always be your teacher and to show you where we are going. And even if America decides to stay in the Stone Age, which we are in now compared to China, China will continue to rise and grow into the behemoth. NIO will follow along because China will follow the same playbook as Toyota and go throughout the world. And even if Europe allow themselves to be wagged like the tail of the dog, like they've been done for so many years, China will go throughout the rest of the world, as they're doing throughout Africa, the Middle East, Latin America, the Caribbean, and ASEAN. And they will continue to grow into a monster. But something tells me that under the Trump administration, they will have no choice because they realize this. They realize that the BRICS nation is growing in a massive way and already is more than half the Earth's population. and will continue into being 3/4 of the world population by the end of this year, most likely. That's why, if we don't bend the knee to China, we will fall by the wayside and become a third world country. So I hope you guys found this video to be informational, inspirational, and motivational on a Sunday. So guys, do not forget that the thumbs up, because it takes a lot of time to do these videos and editing up right there. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level as to how the game is played in Wall Street. And like 50 Cent, we get rich or we die trying, guys.